Earlier this month, the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to look at the question of affirmative action in the University of Michigan case. Just how much does diversity benefit students, and does affirmative action illegally discriminate against white applicants? Eileen Kugler weighs in on the diversity issue in a new book. It's called Debunking the Middle Class Myth. She is here with us now, and Eileen, thank you very much for being here with us. Why do we need diversity in schools? I mean, it seems like it's a slam dunk. We all are different and we should know each other, but why is it so important?
Well, I think the point you raise is the one that socially it's better. It's really nice to know everybody, get to know your neighbors. But what I found with the book is that it's actually a better educational environment when it's diverse. When you have kids who have different perspectives that they bring into the class discussions are more enriching, they're more engaging. Kids have an opportunity to think through their own perspectives when somebody else in the classroom has a different perspective. If everybody there is your mirror image, you never learn to question any assumptions.
You got interested in this subject. I thought it was interesting when your older child went to Annandale High School.
Yes, both my kids went to Annandale High. Right now, Annandale is one of the most diverse schools in the country. It has kids from 88 different nations. I was overwhelmed with the education that my kids got there and how well it prepared them for college, how well it prepared them for work. My daughter's now a teacher in Brooklyn, and they are broad thinkers. They are constantly pursuing different topics because they know there are so many different perspectives worth knowing about.
How did it prepare your daughter for being a teacher in Brooklyn? I mean, obviously Brooklyn is a diverse community. Did it bring her into contact with other people of different groups?
It taught her to respect different people. It taught her that that somebody who might not make the same amount of money as she's making has an opinion worth knowing. It taught her that people from different ethnic groups who might not have the language to be able to speak, it doesn't mean that they don't have the thoughts. They may speak 3 or 4 different languages. English may be their 4th. It taught her that people from different races who've had different life experiences can be enriching. And she's teaching in Brooklyn because she wanted a diverse community.
One of the myths you debunk is that the best schools are those with the highest standardized test scores. And I know all parents are looking, how did they finish?
Right.
And that's where I want my child to go because they were #1. And that's not as important as we think.
Well, it is the classic myth. And the myth is the only criterion that you need to evaluate a school by is what the average standardized test score is. And that's important. That tells you something about the school, but it doesn't tell you a broad range of things about the school. It doesn't tell you anything about school climate. Truthfully, Columbine High had very high test scores. It doesn't tell you whether kids are learning things like integrity, whether they are open to new ideas, whether they respect difference.
But should we be playing the numbers games as the critics of trying to impose diversity on schools, making sure you've got this many girls, this many blacks, this many
Is it
whites,
fair that he can't
whatever.
get in because there's a quota?
And he's got a 1,600.
Well, we're not talking about quotas because even the Supreme Court isn't talking about quotas. That's bad. But what the University of Michigan wants to do is use race as one factor because they want to make sure that they have a diverse campus for the benefit of every kid, not the minority kids alone, every kid. And I feel that way about K through 12 schools. One of the reasons that we don't have as much diversity in many schools is that classic white flight. Yes. Middle-class white parents see the immigrants moving in. They assume that the school is not going to be as good a place. And I'm here to tell you that those schools with those different types of kids and a diversity are the best schools.
The book is Debunking the Middle Class Myth, Why Diverse Schools Are Good for All Kids. Ellen, good to see you.
Eileen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.